congratulations.
Thank you.
What an extraordinary triumph. What an extraordinary triumph, Arne. Can you put into words what this means to you and your football club right now?
Well, I think that's difficult to put it into words. I think you see what's happening over here, even before the game already. And that tells you more than what I can describe.
Why is it so special then to have control of it like you did today, to be able to do it in front of your own fans?
Yeah, I think that's what makes it special. 3 or 4 years ago they won the league as well. Amazing accomplishment, but the fans weren't there, so you could feel how important it was for them to be here. You could feel it before the game, you could feel it during the game. And the boys did an outstanding job today, including our fans.
How nervous were you though when Spurs actually took the lead?
No, it wasn't ideal, but it didn't take me a long time to trust these players. They always come back, they always find a way to win. It's not the first time that we went 1 goal behind. And I don't think we could have lost today if you were in the stadium.
I'm just going to get you to hold that slightly higher up, just for a bit higher up.
Oh, like this. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Arne. We're just trying to grab the satellites that are over there.
Okay.
It couldn't have gone much better for you in your first season. Have you had a chance to reflect on that at all?
No, not a lot. Our main focus was to win this game. Everybody is saying you've already won it. But if you are part of it, you still feel the pressure of getting the point over the line. They sing quite hard now. And that makes it special. Yeah.
When did you start to believe that this would become reality?
Quite for a long time, to be honest, because I think almost for the whole season we were on top of the league. And we had a team that was able to win it, but you also know how tough the Premier League is. So you cannot take anything for granted, but the belief for us to win it was almost throughout the whole season. Yeah.
Arne, you've taken a very difficult job following a Liverpool legend, obviously in Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
How have you made it look so easy?
That's of course not only my job, that's the job of the players who are sitting there and the staff members who are standing over there, and the work Jurgen and Pepijn left behind over here. The culture of the team, the work rate of the team, the quality of the team was outstanding. We all knew that. We started off really well, and it maybe helped a bit that City had a difficult spell which they haven't had in 5 years. So maybe that helped us a bit as well.
The first day of pre-season, did you think to yourself that this would be possible? Because I remember watching your first home game against Brentford, and I thought maybe top 4 would be a really good season. But to be stood here now in front of your own fans as a Premier League manager that's won a title, you must feel incredible right now.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think when the season started, everybody would have been happy if we were in the top 4, if we managed to get Champions League next season again. But I don't think that was fair to our players, because they are much better than that, and that's what they've showed this season.
Does it mean something, Arne, as well, to be the first Dutchman to win the Premier League title? Plenty have tried before.
Yeah, of course, that's special. It's always special to win something. It's even more special if you are the first one. And even more special at a club where it's not common that they win the league every single year.
We'll let you go on and let you carry on the celebrations. Thank you so much and congratulations. Have a great night.
Live with you, and these moments that will live with you your entire life.
Of course, it's special and something that we don't take for granted. It's amazing what today was. Obviously a lot of emotions before the game, during the whole week. We got the job done and we truly deserve champions of England.
You said a few weeks ago it was always Liverpool. Is this why?
Yeah. The most beautiful club in the world, and I think we deserve all of this. So let's enjoy the next couple of weeks, and let it sink in.
You didn't get to celebrate together last time. Were you desperate to give them this moment?
Yeah, I was desperate for them, of course, for all the fans around the world, for the fans here, but for us as well. Got 2 Premier League trophies in 5 years, so that's still a good achievement.
Go and enjoy it. Well done.
And and Liverpool had a clear shot at it. Really, it was just a question of when rather than if. 15 points clear, 4 games to go. Liverpool are the title winners. This party is just getting started here, though, at Anfield this afternoon. We will be doing our best to bring you the very best reaction from Anfield before we leave you tonight on...
Look, you've got to respect the team that have won the title and have been the best team this season. I think they deserve great congratulations. I think it's one of the great coaching performances that we've seen to come in from Jurgen Klopp, to not get the players that he wanted in the transfer window, to have that shadow of the 3 probably best players in their positions in Europe hanging over him all season. You've got to hand it to him. It's an absolutely brilliant achievement, and they'll do the job today. They'll finish it off, but it's painful. You're right. It's a sobering day.
And you know, Daniel, the fans have been talking about the fact they didn't want it to happen, really, when Arsenal played Palace in the week. The fans wanted this moment. Would it be the same for the players as well, to win it in front of their own fans?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a day that, you know, they've all been waiting for, they've been dreaming of, and obviously, unfortunately, last time they didn't get to do that. So this time around, to have the fans here, to have the energy of the fans behind them, and for the moment to feel, you know, that togetherness is what they want to feel. So I'm excited for them if they get the job done today.
But would they have also welcomed the fact, Jamie, that it's actually only a point they need here today? Does that just take a little bit of pressure off the occasion?
Yeah, I just don't feel this team will play for a draw, especially when you're at home. You're going to want to put on a performance. You're going to have a real go at it today. Beautiful day, perfect conditions. This feels like it's got something very special at the end of it for Liverpool, and they've got to enjoy it. Don't play the occasion, as everybody says. Gary's done it many times when he's won titles. You don't care how you win it. This is such a hard trophy to come by. This is their second time in 35 years. You know, I signed in 91, and if you'd have said to me, we're not going to win a title in my period, of course you will. It's just going to be inevitable. They are hard to win, and for Liverpool to do it, and as Gary says, in a managerial performance in his first year after following Jurgen Klopp, is nothing short of phenomenal.
Welcome back to Anfield. As you would expect, a real buzz here at half-time, with Liverpool leading Tottenham 3-1. But Liverpool, being Liverpool, gave themselves a little fright early on from a set play.
Just a little one, absolutely. Very, very good header from Solanke. Exceptional. Jumps high, powerful into the corner. I mean, people that might think that Luis Diaz is at fault here would be totally wrong. It's his job to block, his job to slow them down. He pulls and he pushes as much as he can, but he can't keep pulling because he'll give a penalty away. That's Gravenberch's area. The zonal marking, it's Gravenberch's area. From a standing jump, he doesn't get anywhere near it.
Yeah, he's just on his toes. He's not on his toes, I was going to say, Gravenberch. He's almost stationary. Yes, he moves around a bit, but Solanke's got a bit of a run on him, just overpowers him. But I think what Mo said, it was a beautiful header, wasn't it? But Tottenham have just not a little bit of softness in them, but you just knew that they were still there to go and get overpowered and outran, and that's what happened very quickly. They didn't hold on to the lead long enough, did they?
No, it was only 4.5 minutes actually when Liverpool eventually were level after the VAR check, and a very quick automated offside as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously VAR takes a little bit of stick sometimes, but this is why it's so important in our game now. There's no arguments, you can quite clearly see it's onside. Obviously the assistant referee gives offside, but you see there a point from Szoboszlai. He'll give it to Salah. A point again now. Give it to me at this time. He times his run perfect. He doesn't lift his head up once. He knows where his man is, and he crosses the ball for a simple tap-in.
Yeah, it was a lovely work goal, wasn't it? Ball out to Salah. Salah pinpoints to Szoboszlai. Great run. That's what you have to do. You have to run forwards past the defenders as a midfielder, and he puts it on a plate for Luis Diaz to get the crowd, to get the team level, and then the crowd just responded, and then it was one-way traffic, really.
Absolutely, it was deafening. McAllister, great strike. You didn't like the ball across his own penalty area here.
I mean, this is an awful ball, isn't it? Once they win it back, they do the hard part. They've won it back. Maddison gives it to Tell, and then this. I mean, you forgive Archie Gray, just gets outpowered by Gravenberch, and the finish is exemplary by McAllister. We've seen him do it many times before. Goalie, no chance, 2 bodies, but that's an awful ball inside the pitch into your penalty area is even worse. And it was just, when you play balls like that, you're just going to be absolutely punished.
Yeah, Gravenberch did really well to outmuscle his man, and what a lovely finish that was. And they weren't done there, Steve. This is another set piece for Liverpool. I thought this was a poor header from Bergwall. Should go high and wide. He sorts his feet out so well there. Just highlight where he should be aiming his header here, clearing it out, but he flicks it into the danger zone, and after a couple of touches, the ball's still under his feet. He can't get much power, but does he get precision? Wow, right into the corner.
Yeah, comedy of errors, not clearing the lines, not strong enough, not closing down. And yet again, Liverpool, like they've done all year, any mistakes in the opposition penalty area normally ends up in the back of the net.
And that's what it means to Arne. An added reaction from Liverpool fans. It would take some Tottenham Hotspur story from here to stop the party starting at Anfield. It's what all the supporters around us expect, and Liverpool have put themselves in the position to get one hell of a party underway.
Well, even the most nervous Liverpool fans now, surely they've calmed their nerves. I mean, Tottenham need to score 3 goals without reply for Liverpool not to win it today. I think it's over, and I think these Liverpool fans can sense it, and the party's already started.
Incredible in here, Macca, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible, wonderful atmosphere, isn't it? Really buoyant, and of course they're only feeding on what's happening on the pitch, and everything's going to plan at this moment.
As we know, we've brought you Matchday Live on the road many times when Liverpool play Manchester United. That fierce Premier League rivalry, 2 giant clubs, and as I said, right at the top on that Champions wall, the 19 is expected to be changed to 20 today, level with Manchester United. And Michael, Liverpool fans suffered when United were winning all those Premier League titles. You won one of them, of course, but they've waited 14 years to go level with their arch rivals in that total.
Exactly. I think that means an awful lot to Liverpool fans. Of course, Liverpool have been on top of that league table for so long, and it's only in the last sort of 20 odd years that Manchester United have caught and then gone past Liverpool. So I think to bounce back with a one not so long ago and another one today, to go back level. I mean, we know that that's the biggest rivalry in English football. Manchester and Liverpool, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. It's got history, going dating way back. And I just think now, back to level, I think that means an awful lot to both sets of fans, really. But Liverpool catching Manchester United again, I think that means a lot.
And just to put it into context as well, we mentioned, of course, when Jordan Henderson lifted the trophy, it was COVID. There weren't any supporters in. So you have to go back to almost a year to the day of 1990, actually, when Macca was in the squad, when Liverpool clinched the title here with a win over Queen's Park Rangers. 2-1 they won that day. I asked Macca to name the team, and he did it off the top of his head before. Rush and Barnes, the goal scorers.
Yes, and I think that's what makes it a little bit more sweet today. I mean, I was lucky enough actually to see Jordan Henderson lift the trophy during COVID. I was here. I was one of the lucky few who was allowed in the stadium, and that was a special moment. But you can feel what it means to the crowds, as you rightly said. 35 years, is a long time to actually see it and live it. And there's lots of youngsters here today who will be remembering that, coming with the fathers who were here. So it'll be a special moment all round. That's why the clamour for tickets has been so high.
Yeah, I mean, John Barnes was with us last weekend, and he said, when I won that league in 1990, if you'd said Liverpool are only going to win it once in the next 35 years, he wouldn't have believed it, because that generation not took it for granted, but they were serial winners, weren't they?
Yeah, and that's what happens. It goes in cycles, doesn't it? And when you have a good team, you need to make the most of it, because we all know how competitive it is to win the Premier League. We've seen it in recent times. And as Macca alluded to, and yourself, Steve, it's only been once and nobody was here. For a large part of this crowd today, probably 50% of this crowd, they will never have seen Liverpool, or even more than that, never have seen Liverpool win the league title and lift it in front of their eyes live. So it's going to be a first for so many people. It's a special, special day. I mean, you can never get used to days like this.
No, absolutely. So we talked about Jordan Henderson lifting that trophy, and the fact that the fans weren't allowed. Michael was one of the very fortunate few, really, in the stadium that night when Michael and I were in the studio talking to him. Ian Irvin is part of our team as usual as well, and he is on the exact spot just away to our left hand side in the iconic Kop stand, where of course they built the stage that night for Liverpool's celebrations. Ian.
Yeah, that's right. It was pretty much on this very spot where the stage was, and where the captain, Jordan Henderson, Jurgen Klopp, the manager, and the team celebrated that historic title win for Liverpool. This stand, the Kop, the most famous really in English football, will be absolutely packed in no time at all. But of course, Anfield was pretty much empty the last time, and so far only time, that Liverpool won the Premier League title. The last time that the club managed to celebrate a league title win with fans inside this stadium was 35 years ago, as you've been saying. In fact, of the first team squad, none of them were even born the last time Liverpool were able to do that. 9 of them, though, were part of the squad that won it 5 years ago, that were on the stand in the Kop here, lifting that trophy. One of them, of course, was Virgil van Dijk. He's the captain now. He will be the one to lift the Premier League trophy this time around. But that won't be today. No matter the scoreline today, the trophy presentation will not take place until after the final home game of the season, here against Crystal Palace on the final day in just under a month's time. And if Liverpool are to get the job done today, I think some of the parties will still be going on by then. And I think Mo and Macca, of course, will be invited to those if they fancy popping along.
They'll be inviting themselves, don't worry about that, especially McManaman when there's a party involved. We saw the list of players there. There's more than half this squad who've never tasted this, which they hope will happen today, which just makes it even more special.
Yeah, really interesting, because you see Liverpool as a squad that's been pretty consistent over recent times. Not too much chopping and changing in their squad. So it's quite interesting that it's only a handful of players really that have won it before. There's going to be half the squad plus that have never been in this situation before at Liverpool, so a first for them as well. So yeah, I mean, exciting for the fans, but exciting for some of these players, because even though some players have already won it once, you want to win it again, but for some of them it's a first time. That's an unbelievable, it's a momentous time in their career.
Yeah. And for some of them, when they signed, that was the dream they were sold.
That was it, wasn't it?
Come here and win the Premier League and end that wait.
Yeah, and it's all about realisation, really. When you join a team, you always want to be successful. When you join the bigger teams, there's a bit more pressure on to be successful. And if you remember last May, when Jurgen Klopp said his goodbyes here, there was about 6 or 7 players, 6 or 7 staff left. A couple of players left, Matips, the Thiagos, all got a huge round of applause. Little did we know, 9 months later, new manager, new staff. I mean, there's only really Chiesa. Mamardashvili's come in, but he's still on loan. 1 player's come in, Chiesa, but a bunch of new staff and new sports scientists, etc., etc. Yet they're lifting the trophy. I mean, talk about rapid fire. They've come in, they've hit the ground running, and they look as if they're cruising to a title, which is even more amazing after realising what happened last year and the amount of people who have left. Yes, it was the manager, but it was the manager plus a lot more people. His second in command, his third in command, his fourth in command, all went. And I think that's what makes this achievement more remarkable for Liverpool Football Club.
And that's a very, very good point, isn't it, that Macca's making there, the rapid progress since the summer.
Yeah, I think that's why not many people, and if everybody can cast their minds back 9 months or so, that's not many people were tipping Liverpool for the title. Of course, Manchester City had won it 4 times on the spin. Virtually everybody was thinking that they would win it again. The team that were on their tail was Arsenal. They were getting close to it. And Liverpool, with the change, mainly at the top, as Macca said, it's not so much the squad has changed. This is pretty much the same team that played last season. But all the backroom staff, that's a huge change. So that's probably why everybody thought, right, this is going to take a little time for this to bed in. New manager, new ideas, maybe a new system, who knows. Get in his own new players, what's going to happen. But for them to just do what they've done, it's been seamless. In fact, it's been incredible what they've done. To be winning the league with still 4 games to go after today is quite remarkable. So yeah, I mean, I use the word seamless. That's exactly what it's been, and a huge credit obviously goes to the manager for that. And that temptation of doing everything that you want. There was a lot already in place that was absolutely perfect, and I think that's the biggest compliment, that he's come in and he's not thought, I know better than everybody else. He's added, yes, he's changed it slightly to his way, and we might see over time him changing it a little bit more. Of course, the squad is always going to evolve, so they're always going to be his players from now on coming in, so it's always going to evolve, and he'll keep getting challenged and keep getting people's opinions of him. But I think not changing everything is the biggest thing that I've seen. It was a well-oiled machine, and he's just kept that machine rolling.
Because there were a lot of people, Macca, before a ball was kicked, quite rightly I suppose, saying, well, it's going to take him a year or 2 to get used to England, to the Premier League, to the size of Liverpool and the expectation, the different style he's managed in before. That hasn't been a problem at all.
No, and I think the players have helped that. The players are hugely experienced. They were very much in the hunt for all kinds of trophies till March last year, so they knew they had to go out and replicate what they did, and you were hoping, as a Liverpool fan, the likes of Szoboszlai, McAllister, the latest signings, the Gravenbergs, the Endos would improve, and the younger kids with a bit more experience would improve and help the squad, and that is what's happened. But I'm with Michael, the fact that he was brought in by the sporting directors, they had done their homework, they knew what style of manager they needed, they knew they needed a manager who played the same style of football to a certain extent as Jurgen Klopp, so they wouldn't need to change the team dramatically. They knew they needed a manager who protected the players, who had a great injury record. You know, people say about luck and about injuries and about this and Liverpool. One of the major things that Arne Slot was brought in to Liverpool for was his injury records at Feyenoord. If you go through the books, his records at Feyenoord with injuries and protecting the players is exemplary. That's why he's here, and that is why he's shown this year.
He brought the sports scientist.
And he brought a sports scientist, a specialised sports scientist who he trusts implicitly to tell him the right information, and that's worked this year. So that's an art in itself, being able to say, we need to do this, we need to do that. You know how many times you make substitutions within games if you watch him? People might say, oh, he's making another substitution. But actually, the fact that we're getting to this position and they've had injuries, of course they've had injuries, but they've had limited injuries compared with some of the other bigger sides, their contemporaries. I think, again, shows you it's not just fortune, it's hard work, it's planning, and it's good thinking. And, to a certain extent, it has been seamless, and I think that is the bigger thing. It's the same players. They've tweaked a few things here and there, and they've got the best out of them. But it has to go down to the players as well, because they're the ones who cross the white line and play and perform. And they've been amazing. They've looked after themselves. They've been incredibly professional, and they've done the job, or very close to doing the job.
And plenty of goals when these two met earlier in the season. We've got plenty of goals in our team now because the strike force is extended. Look at this. Owen and Fowler, 341 Liverpool goals between them. Macca and I with the odd assist, just trying to get the questions in.
I had 200 assists, so that was all.
Yeah. Imagine if they'd had assists when you were playing.
Imagine if they had assists.
The trophy cabinet would be extended.
Imagine the goal involvement I would have had.
Robbie, great to see you.
You pal, you okay?
And you can sense, can't you, as we've been saying, outside the stadium in it. I mean, there's a real party atmosphere here today.
It is actually, yeah. I mean, it's such a good occasion. I mean, obviously we all know what happened the last time they won it. The crowd weren't here, but I think now is a little bit more real. I think the buzz from the ground early doors has been magnificent, and I can't wait for the game to get going, to be fair.
And we've all been saying, listen, if Palace had got a third goal on Wednesday, great, and they would have celebrated at the golf club or whatever. But this is the dream scenario, to need something on the game in front of your own supporters.
Yeah, and look, that's the nice part about it, isn't it? The fact that you can come to Anfield and you can win the league in front of your own fans. I mean, it's great winning it, don't get me wrong, anywhere. But the fact that you can do it here is probably like the pivotal moment of the year, isn't it, really, for them?
Yeah, we were just talking about the role the manager has done before the break, and you were talking about the sports science department. It's really interesting, actually, when you look at his most used team, because you said about in-game changes, but he hasn't actually tinkered week to week much in the Premier League, and that's one of the reasons why they've had such a settled team.
Yeah, and also, I think the intensity levels are different from Jurgen. I think you know that, and as you look through, you can see why they've been successful, can't you? They're arguably the strongest 11, whether you think of a Gakpo or whatever. That's a personal choice, but the big hitters have played the most minutes, and that's exactly why. And the intensity levels, I think, of training has dropped, which has probably protected the players a little bit more. Of course, the running the cup competitions and going out late on has protected them a little bit as well. But they've managed the minutes very well between them all. And I think that's another standout moment. Someone singing happy birthday over there.
I mean,
there's a stadium tour going on.
I was a couple of weeks too late, Arne. I was 50 a few weeks ago.
And I think they've misread the date on Wikipedia for Robbie Fowler's 50th. But anyway, the thought was there for them.
Before that counted.
Yeah. God is here. Yeah, God's birthday. Getting back to minutes played, there's not too many teams who've won the title with those kind of numbers for a settled 11.
No, it has been really consistent. I mean, we made the point before, Macca made the point that he's kept this squad very, very fit. The only question mark, when you were about to say that, I pretty much knew too, and I was thinking, is it Jota, is it Gakpo that's played the most? Which of those? It's obviously Jota, we've just seen there, but, very consistent. Virtually everybody stayed fit for most of the season. Listen, we talk about fitness, sometimes you can't help but get injured. If something happens, a bad tackle or a bad twist. But in general, in terms of muscle injuries and overplaying or whatever it might be, then conditioning your team is a skill, and it's really important. And I can't stand it when some of these managers in the Premier League bemoan their looks and how many injuries we've got, and it's a hamstring and it's a groin and it's a calf injury. Well, that's not luck. That's the profile of player or the way you're training them, the strength and conditioning that you're doing with them. So it's a very, very impressive stat, that the amount of minutes their main players have played.
Did it actually surprise you just to see that in black and white there with that list of 11?
You know what? No, because I've sort of watched him, and you sort of know when a team comes out, well, he's played a lot of minutes, and you know what? Why wouldn't it be? Because we always make a big thing, and the lads talking about there now with the sports scientists now in the game is like, I mean, it's tempo, everyone wants to talk about it. But you know what? Rest the players on training days. Let them play the best 11 on on a Saturday or a Sunday or whenever the game is, and you know, we hear all about players getting rested for the next game, but then they'll go and train a little bit more, and the training will be harder. Do less training, but get your best 11 on the pitch on a Saturday, Sunday, or whenever the game is. I love that. That's the mantra that all
I think it goes to the
having.
Professionalism of the players as well. If you speak to some of the players individually,
they have to buy into it, don't they?
They have to buy into it, and they have to do it 24/7. For instance, Mo Salah, as we know,